Hi, it's Dave Diegelman with Equity Real Estate. Welcome to our 2024 August market report for Southern Utah. So let's get to the numbers. So first of all, we see the sold listings. Right now, we're currently at 419 sold listings for the month. And last year at this time, it was 418, so relatively stable there. And if you see this big surge here and the decline here, this is a normal yearly pattern that we have. So nothing really unusual there. In fact, with the economy and everything else going on, I'm kind of impressed that we are same numbers as last year or very close to them. If we take a look at the active listings, you can see is kind of a similar thing. Right now we have 1,708 active listings, and last year we had 1,522. So that's on the rise. That's also not that unusual for this time of year. However, the numbers are jumping up higher and higher. We'll talk about that in a minute. So listing prices, we're going to go to the sold median sale price, and you can see it jumps all over the place. This does not reflect a similar property and what it sold for in different times. This is just what our median overall price sold price was. Our current sold price is $504,000 and some change, and last year at this time it was $458,000 and some change. So what we're seeing a trend towards is a lot of financed homes are selling in the lower price ranges traditionally, but right now we have predominantly a larger increase in cash sales, second homes, retirement homes, things of that nature. The active median list price right now is $610,000. Last year at this time, the active median price was $589,000. Again, this does not mean that the prices have gone up, down, or sideways, because they're not comparing like houses or a certain market category. It's just an overall category of where things get listed at and what gets listed. So absorption rate in months, I like to pay attention to this one. This is how much inventory we have versus how many sales we have per month. And that is how we get our absorption rate per month. The absorption rate per month currently is 4.23 months, and last year at this time it's 4.32. So again, we have a very stable marketplace as far as that's concerned. The peaks and the valleys that you see are normal yearly adjustments that we will see. The market gets really busy February, March, April. This is not unusual. It's a normal yearly progression of sales that we see. So sold to list ratio, I like to pay attention to this one too. And right now, the sold to list ratio is 96.4%. Last year at this time, it was 95.7%. So again, that's not that unusual for how we have the troughs and the peaks here. That's a normal yearly thing that we have. But what is incredible is this is reflecting that properties that don't get put on at what the comps are not selling, and properties that are being put on where the comps are selling, and their sold to list ratio is what makes up these numbers. So what you're not seeing are the speculative listings where someone thought, gosh, this is tough, 2022, 2023, where our prices were higher on a lot of categories, on almost all categories. So beware of that. Look at my newsletter if you want to see the details. The link is down below, and we go into a little bit more about correct pricing on that, and especially right now what's going on. Days on the market, I like to pay attention to this one too. It's a great indicator. Currently our days on the market is at 63.5, and last year at this time it was 66.5. So again, it's stable. It's a normal healthy marketplace, so we're not in a crazy marketplace. So this is good news for buyers. If you're looking for a home, it means that you might actually have some time to see it, and there's not as many multiple offers. However, we do have multiple offers in our marketplace right now. So It doesn't mean that every property is going to be that way. So you don't want to hesitate if you are a buyer right now, but there's plenty of inventory to choose from, which is great news. Price volume, let's look at the sold volume. And right now our price volume is 255 million and some change. Last year it was at $243 million and some change. So again, we're actually up on this category, which is, it's good news. We're in a stable marketplace. There's a lot of volatility with interest rates and the economy, and now the stock market has had some pretty significant hits. So we could see the price volume go up or down based on any one of these things going on. So that's impossible to predict, but traditionally our price volume is going to head down towards the fall and the winter months and head back up in February, March, April, May, which is kind of what you see right here. So summary, the categories, we're going to look at the categories next, and you can see the biggest category that we have. We'll look at the year-to-dates and the percentage of change. The largest category we have is still the 500 to 750 marketplace, and it's up 7.1%. So stable, not going drastically up, not going drastically down, enough numbers to make sense out of it in that category. If we go down to the 400 to 499, you can see there's only 50 year-to-date last year and 35 year-to-date this year. So those numbers are getting kind of skinny to really make any sense of, and it's down 0.7% anyway. Not anything to really look at and judge because the numbers are so small. We just don't have that many listings in the 450 to 500 range, and predominantly more of those are going to be finance sales. So I don't really put a lot of value in what's going on in that category. And of course, 300 to 400,000 down here, you can see, again, the numbers aren't real high here, but that's up 37%. And I've mentioned this for the last several months, but a lot of our manufactured homes that, like double wides, for example, that are on property, are falling into this category right here. And so it's, really different than we've traditionally had over the past several years. So if we go up to the $1 million to $2 million mark, we've got some numbers there. That's on an increase, 33.2%. However, those numbers aren't huge, and there are some bargains in this category. And I've preached about this for a while now, well over a year. But what happens is if you're looking to build a house, let's say you're retiring from somewhere, California, and have some cash and you want your forever home to retire in. This is a typical scenario for our St. George marketplace. Well, if you were to go to a builder by the lot, you're probably going to pay significantly more by the time you get landscaping done than what you could find on an existing home, especially in this price range. So when I say there's bargains in this price range, I'm comparing it to the cost of reproduction. There's some serious bargains in that category if you're in that situation. 2 million to 3 million, 3 million to 5 million, and 5 million plus. There's not enough numbers to really have any type of, make any type of sense of it. We do have sales in those areas, but obviously there's not enough volume to make any sense of the marketplace and where it might go. Active listings, if we look over here, they pretty much parallel what we have over on the other side over there. We do have a lot of active listings coming up in the 350 to 399 area. And it's interesting because you would think that would get jumped all over, but again, a lot of those are financed, so we don't really see as many sales in that area. So we are building up in active listings over there. And the 5 to 750 is, of course, our largest segment of the marketplace here. And we do have this year a decline on that. I'm sorry, an increase on that. And it's not a significant increase in my humble opinion there. And the same with the 750 to a million. We have a fairly sharp increase on the number of listings in that area. But what we have the most amount of new listings on that have any type of numbers behind them is the $1 to $2 million mark. And so there again, that parallels what I was saying before about there are bargains out there in this category right there. So again, if you have any questions on anything, feel free to give me a call, real estate oriented, 435-703-4041. And if you want to see more details behind any of these and some of the trending things that are happening, like the NAR lawsuit and how that's going to change everything this month, it's in my eyes, it'll kind of be business as usual, but there's a different mechanism of how we are going about that as realtors and as sellers and as buyers. So click on the link down below for the web copy of the market report, and we'll go into more detail on that. But got to tell you this, if someone's not going to be paying a commission for selling a home, the odds are they're going to knock a lot of the buyers out of the marketplace, and the buyers aren't going to want to absorb that from their side. Now, the reality is, if a buyer is paying for a house and the seller is paying for the commission, the buyer is paying for the commission because the buyer is the one putting the offer in on the house. So it's semantics. So you're going to hear a lot of stuff about, the real estate industry is going to totally change. The only thing that they've really changed is the ability for us to be transparent on the MLS that there's a listing commission being offered. So anyway, you will see the semantics of the different business if you're putting offers in on houses, or if you're a seller. You'll see that the business has changed in the sense that there's different semantics that we have to go through now, but ultimately the market's going to drive. And just like when we've had discount brokerages in the past that have offered to pay 1% or 2% to the buyer's agents on their listing, they really just didn't get that much activity. It's just, that's economics. That's just the way things work. So anyway, God bless you. May you have a great rest of the summer, and I look forward to our monsoon season and cooling off, as I'm sure you do too. And by the way, I wanted to mention the backdrop today. I am in a house that was built in the early 1800s in Virginia and Charlottesville area, and it's a friend of mine that lives here. I am visiting for, unfortunately, the funeral of a very close lifelong friend, but this place is incredible. It's on 70 acres. It's a house that's been rebuilt and added onto and such like that, but the graveyard markers are from back in like 1808, 1806, I think, is the earliest one that we see, and it used to be a mill. And this is very near the house of Thomas Jefferson. It's in the same vicinity, I should say. A lot of history here. Being from Utah, we don't see quite as much old history as we do on the East Coast. And anyway, it's just kind of fun to be out here. So that's what's in the backdrop behind me. God bless you.